Good morning from Texas. I am in a small town called Borger this morning. I got in last night. Part of what I do when I know that I'm going to be camping in my car is I'll kind of get into the general area of where I want to be, and then I'll start asking people kind of what's cool around here. And that turned out to be Borger. It's a town of about 12,000 people. It's about an hour north of Amarillo, which is where I'll head now before heading on to New Mexico. And it was cool because I got to talk to a lot of people. They were shocked to have a visitor, period. So people were very friendly, invited me to sit with them, wanted to talk and learn about what I was doing, but also were more than willing to tell me their thoughts on politics and being this close to the border between the U.S. and Mexico, and where they thought the town was 4 years ago versus where it is now versus where they want it to be. I learned all about jobs in the area and if the town had grown or changed. It turns out the town has actually stayed about the same, but there are a booming amount of jobs, and if you go a little further outside of town, you get into oil and gas industry. We're still pretty close to the Oklahoma border. But here in Texas, there are several plants and factories, and all seem to be doing a lot, or seem to be alive and well, and employ large swaths of this community. So it's an interesting kind of place. I want to share more about that and what I learned. And then I also, though, observation, and I suppose it's not completely unique, but it was interesting, is that every single person I talked to either lived in Borger their entire life or lived there when they were growing up, went away in their 20s, and then came back and stayed. And it speaks to this idea that we've been exploring this whole time of community, and it doesn't really matter where you live as long as you have people around you who you love and you feel like you are contributing something into your community. Those are always the happiest people. People always ask me, oh, like, where in the U.S. is the happiest? Where's your favorite place? And I say, it sounds cheesy, but home is where the heart is, and wherever your heart is, that's where you should be. So, a little something for your weekend to think about. But I'm now on my way to Amarillo. I'm going to do a little touring, and then I'm on my way to New Mexico. I'm going to do a similar thing today. I'm going to drive into New Mexico across Route 66, and then I'm going to start asking what a cool town is and go there, since I'll be in Albuquerque and then Las Cruces later this week. So I've got the cities kind of covered. So I'm excited to see what there is to see. I've never been to New Mexico before, and I've always wanted to go. So I am definitely checking something off a personal bucket list now. So what a great morning. Windy. Okay, guys, sometimes on this trip, everything works out so beautifully, and every one of these like bucket list dreams that I had before this trip even began, when I started thinking about it 4 years ago, are just as awesome in real life. And this is one of them. Right there. Can you see it? I don't know. In this back corner, that's Cadillac Ranch. It's an art installation from the 70s, and I have dreamt about seeing it in person, I think since I was in like high school, and it was incredible. I'm going to show you in a sec. It is just so lucky. Oh my god. So windy in the Texas plains. Oh my god. I'm about to pass into New Mexico for state 27 of this trip. I'll finish the rest of Texas when I'm back later this summer. But I wanted to hop on here really fast to show you that I am officially sitting on the midpoint of Route 66. Crazy. So, halfway done with this part of the adventure. It's wild to think about, but seemed like a cool milestone to document. Santa Fe, which is where I'll be spending the next night, like day and a half or so before heading down to Albuquerque. But I just had to show you this because the entire drive I've just like had my jaw wide open. This state is so beautiful. Morning, guys. I actually just woke up outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico. In short, essentially, there are a ton of ordinances against camping in different Walmarts and parking lot places that I typically use in Santa Fe because of a large drug user population and a large homeless population. They're trying to figure out other ways to help those communities, so they have banned parking overnight in many, many places where I typically go, which I respect their efforts to try and solve the problems and offer different resources for people who are struggling. But for me, it made things a little different. So I had two choices. I could drive into a national forest in the dark at like 9:30 p.m. And camp for free on some BLM land, which if I was with someone else, I probably would have done. But personally, for me, not knowing the area and not knowing if the cell phone service was going to be good, because it usually isn't when you start to go into nature, as it should be, I think, and not really knowing the terrain, I didn't want to risk it. So instead, I drove, 45 minutes or so, at 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock at night. I was so tired, to get closer to Albuquerque. I'm essentially in a little suburb of Albuquerque right now, where the ordinances are a little more loose. And it is about 9 in the morning right now. I just took down my shade, actually on accident, but I'll put it back up to get dressed. But I needed to show you this because obviously I arrived in the middle of the night and I didn't see this outside my window in a parking lot. I'm just speechless. People get to live here and look at that every single day? Oh my God. It's so incredible. I'm in love with New Mexico. I don't want to leave. Okay. luckily for me, I get a whole week here, so it should be fun. Exploring Albuquerque the next couple days, so actually it just means I only have to drive about 20 minutes today instead of an hour and a half. So, not going to complain about that one. So yeah. Okay, getting dressed, getting going. Today's an admin day, but I'll probably do some touring. I'm staying with a friend of mine tonight, in the city, so looking forward to it. Talk soon.